Stop buying more groceries. Today we're shopping our own kitchens and making 2 easy plant-based dinners using ingredients we already have. These ingredients are whole food plant-based, gluten-free, oil-free, budget-friendly, absolutely delicious, and you can customize them with whatever you have in your fridge and pantry.
Hi, welcome back to my channel and to another video. And today I'll be making 2 recipes for you. They're going to be using a lot of overlapping ingredients. These are things I already had in my house. So I kind of looked in my pantry, looked in my fridge, and thought, what can I rustle up with all these ingredients? Because I really didn't want to go to the store. So you can do the same thing at home, and you may vary things up a little bit, but you're going to get the idea and you'll be able to do the same thing. So it's going to be easier, it's going to be quick because you don't have to go to the store, and it's going to be a lot less expensive because you already have all the ingredients. So what could be better than that? And as you guys know, you probably know the drill by now, I'm working on getting 40,000 subscribers for my 70th birthday in October. Also, that's the 10-year anniversary of my YouTube channel. I will be doing a giveaway when I reach those 40,000, and hopefully it's before October, but October 31st is the deadline. And I appreciate all of you that have already subscribed, and if you haven't already, please do so. So as always, the full recipe and the macros will be in the description box, along with all the other resources I offer. My cookbook, I have a Facebook group, I have an online course. There's a lot of things down there, discount codes, so check that all out. So the first recipe is going to be a pasta recipe. I'll be using some chickpea pasta, so it's going to be higher in protein. And for the second recipe, I'm going to be using these pea crumbles. Now, you might not have these in your possession, but if you have TVP, you can use that. That would work just as well. Or if you just want to crumble some tofu, that will also work. So, but these are really high in protein. They are 21 grams of protein per serving, and they're just basically pea protein. So that's all that's in here, I believe. Yes, pea protein is the full ingredient list. And for half a cup, it's 110 calories and 21 grams of protein. I'll be putting in a cup of these in the second recipe, which is going to be stuffed bell peppers. So super easy, both of these, and let's get going. We're going to start by sauteing some onion. And I just put a little water in here. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic. And we'll just let this saute for a couple of minutes until the onion gets softened. The next step is I've got these lovely tomatoes. You can see some are kind of shrivelly. They just need to be used up. I've got about 4 cups. It's not an exact amount, but we're just going to put them in whole. And then we're going to add some veggie broth. And we're going to bring it up to a boil. Then we're going to just let these simmer until these start bursting. That's when you know you're done. Alright, so we'll bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat to a simmer. Now as you can see, it's starting to come up to a boil. So I am going to cover it and turn the heat down to like medium-low. Medium. And then we'll check in about 5 minutes, and it usually takes around 10 minutes, but we'll check it at 5, see how they're doing. Now, can you see how they are starting to burst? This took about 6 minutes. And they're pretty much, you want to make sure they're all in that same state. The next step is, I've got it on low now. You just start mashing these. We want to crush these. And this is just going to be your sauce. Be careful, this is very hot. If this squirts on you, it could get burned, so just be careful. But you want to make sure they're nice and soft. They've burst. It makes it real easy to do this. And I love using all the different colors of the tomatoes. All right, we're gonna say that is good for right now. Then I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of tomato paste. You know, get that all stirred in. We can turn it back up to like low medium or medium low. And I just cooked my pasta on to package directions. And I used the Banza rigatoni because it has more protein and more fiber than just regular old gluten-free pasta. But as always, you can use whatever kind of pasta you'd like. All right, let's add some seasonings. I've got some crushed red pepper, salt, and Italian seasoning. Of course, season how you like. Maybe you don't like crushed red peppers, maybe you want no salt. However you'd like to do it. You want to give it a taste, make sure it's to your liking. And then we'll start adding in our pasta. And I cooked a whole box, but I don't know if we're gonna manage that in here, but we'll see. And then I'm gonna put in a half a container of spinach. We're just gonna let this wilt down. This is a half of a 5-ounce container of baby spinach. So we've still got the heat on medium low. I'm just gonna cover this, let that wilt, and then we'll add in a couple more things. We'll be done, ready to taste. All right, let's see how our spinach is doing. And then I like to finish it with a little lemon juice. It just seems to brighten the flavor. I just love a lemon finish. If that's not your thing, then you can leave it out. Here we go, finished product. Looks amazing. Let's get some tomato, a little spinach. It's a nice little bite. So good. And so easy. Such a good comfort food. So let's move on to our next recipe. So first thing up is we're going to make the filling for our stuffed peppers. And we're gonna add some onion and some carrots. We're gonna saute these for about 5 minutes on medium heat. And then we're gonna add a little chopped garlic, a little bit of tomato paste. And by the way, I'm sauteing in some veggie broth. And I'm gonna add some Italian seasoning and then just get this mixed in. I'm gonna add a splash of veggie broth just to kind of get this going. Now we're gonna add in our pea crumbles. And we're going to add some more veggie broth. Just enough to get them covered. And then these will reconstitute, rehydrate. So we'll let this simmer for about, 4 or 5 minutes, and then we will add the rest of the ingredients. So you want it to look about like that. Now we're going to add about a half a can of Italian tomatoes, some nutritional yeast, and a cup of garbanzo beans. Now we're going to let this all simmer together for about 5 more minutes. Then we'll taste and see if we need to add any salt. Definitely probably going to add some pepper. But there is salt in the tomatoes, so we'll just wait and see. I don't want to put it in now because it just will get concentrated. So I'm going to cover this and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Okay, the final thing here, we're going to add some spinach. If you don't want to add greens, you don't have to, but I just feel like, why not get more fiber, more greens, more antioxidants, and some lemon juice to brighten up those flavors. And then we'll just let this sit for like 2 minutes, and then we'll stuff our peppers. But just get it all incorporated. I mean, this on its own, you could stick this in a tortilla and it'd be amazing. Now we fill the peppers. generously. If it spills over, not a problem. And I always have leftover filling, which I love to use. Like I said earlier, just throw it in a tortilla. It's quite amazing. And we have a little bit of filling left, which I don't mind because I can eat it in tortillas or whatever. All right, so we're gonna put these in the oven, 375 for 30 minutes. Then we're gonna take them out. I'm gonna sprinkle some breadcrumbs on them and then back in the oven for another 15 minutes and then we'll be ready to taste. And I did forget to mention, I'm gonna cover these and bake for 30-35 minutes, then uncover, put the breadcrumbs in back in the oven for another 10 or 15. I don't like foil touching my food, so I will put some parchment paper over first and then the foil. This way the peppers will kind of steam and then they'll be nice and tender. All right, these are looking good. I'm gonna sprinkle some breadcrumbs on there. I'm gonna be using, they're not technically breadcrumbs, they're made from lupini beans. So they are higher in protein and they're gluten-free. So a win-win for me. And we're just gonna sprinkle the breadcrumbs on here and then we'll put them back in the oven for another 10-15 minutes and then we'll give it a taste. I like a lot of breadcrumbs. All right, let's pop these back in the oven. Here we go, finished product. That looks pretty darn good. All right, let's give it a taste. Yum, yum, yum. Mmm. So my husband reminded me when he saw I was making these about the time, it was probably over 15 years ago, we went up to Carmel here in California. We went to a restaurant and they had these stuffed bell peppers and they were, they sat them on top of mashed potatoes and they had this like tomatoey sauce and that was so good. So that's an idea for you guys to just put these on top of some mashed potatoes and do some kind of a sauce. You could do a cheese sauce or a tomato sauce. Totally delicious. So again, full recipe and macros will be in the description box. These recipes are both oil-free and gluten-free and of course 100% plant-based. And if you like this video, if you learned something, please give it a like and share it with your friends. If you haven't already subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that I make. And I put out a video once a week, usually on Sunday. If you've made it this far in the video, comment below with bell peppers and that way I know you made it to the end with me and I really appreciate it. All my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you.